4 Supreme Court justices were entirely willing to let the Trump-induced darkness descend on America. But the good news is 5 Supreme Court justices were not. In a very real sense, those 5 justices today pushed back against Donald Trump's abuse and overreach. And hey, we will take our points of light where we can find them. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, not long after taking office, Donald Trump froze all USAID funding, all USAID funding that involved congressionally appropriated money that was supposed to be paid to USAID contractors. And then a judge, a federal court judge in Washington, D.C., Judge Amir Ali, after some litigation, ordered the Trump administration to pay what it owed to those contractors for work already completed. So, of course, the Trump administration ran up to the Supreme Court to try to put a stop to Judge Ali's order to pay what they owed these USAID contractors. And the Supreme Court, by a 5-justice majority, just rejected the Trump administration's position and upheld Judge Ali's order. Let's start with the new reporting. This from NBC News. Headline: Supreme Court rejects Trump administration's bid to avoid paying USAID contractors. And that article begins: the Supreme Court on Wednesday backed a federal judge's power to order the Trump administration to pay $2 billion to U.S. Agency for International Development contractors, but did not require immediate payment. In doing so, the court, on a 5-4 vote, rejected an emergency application filed by the Justice Department after U.S. District Judge Amir Ali issued a series of rulings demanding the government unfreeze funds that President Donald Trump put on hold with an executive order. The court delayed acting on the case for a week. In the meantime, the contractors have not been paid. As the article points out, the government left contractors out of pocket for work already completed, the contractors alleged. Among other things, they said in their lawsuit that the government had failed to follow the correct course under a law called the Administrative Procedure Act. And after rejecting Trump's position, the Supreme Court remanded, sent the case back to Judge Ali with some further instructions about how to proceed. Judge Ali should clarify what obligations the government must fulfill in order to comply with a temporary restraining order issued February 13, the court said. Judge Ali should consider the feasibility of any compliance deadlines, the court added. So, friends, there will be more legal proceedings to come in this case, but there are a couple of important takeaways from the Supreme Court decision. But first, let me mention there were 4 justices who dissented from the majority opinion, and I know you'll be shocked. Are you sitting down? Those 4 justices were Thomas, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Alito. And Alito actually wrote a dissenting opinion. And he said, among other things, does a single district court judge have the unchecked power to compel the government of the United States to pay out $2 billion taxpayer dollars? The answer to that question should be an emphatic no. But a majority of this court apparently thinks otherwise. I am stunned. Now, apparently Justice Alito is not stunned that the Trump administration would default on paying money to contractors owed for work already performed. It seems that Justice Alito is not stunned by what sure looks like executive branch abuse, overreach and possible illegality. No, he is stunned that a federal district court judge would order the administration to pay what it owes. Now, there's no reporting yet on whether Alito is so stunned that he, toddled out to his flagpole and flew his American flag upside down again. So friends, let's finish up with two quick takeaways. First, yes, this is just one Supreme Court ruling, but it is some indication that the Supreme Court, at least 5 justices of the Supreme Court, won't roll over, won't lay down, won't give in to Donald Trump's dictatorial aspirations. Because today, the Supreme Court acted as a legitimate co-equal branch of government, a legitimate check on executive branch overreach. And friends, that's not nothing. Second takeaway, and this one may be a little less obvious, a little less intuitive, but today's Supreme Court ruling sends a signal to federal trial court judges all across the nation, many of whom are dealing with lawsuits that have been filed to try to address some of the Trump administration abuse, overreach, illegality, and in some instances, unconstitutionality. This sends the signal to all of those judges that if you rule against the Trump administration, based on the facts and the law presented to you, we will have your back. If the Supreme Court, at least 5 justices, believe it's the right thing to do, even though it may upset dear leader, even though it may inspire Trump to, say or post all sorts of horrible things about you as a judge who ruled against him. We know what Trump's MO is, don't we? And we know what it inspires in his supporters when he berates a judge publicly for ruling against him. If you do that, then just as we did today, we will have your back. We will affirm your ruling if the facts and the law mandate an affirmance of your ruling, just like today they affirmed the ruling of Judge Amir Ali, which simply told the Trump administration, in substance, pay your damn bills. The money you owe these contractors for work already performed. And the trial court judges nationwide, having some confidence that the Supreme Court will have their back if they make these difficult rulings against the Trump administration, boy, it is really important to the cause of justice. And yes, justice matters. Points of light, friends. They're out there. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.